Welcome to another episode of Track It. This is a slightly different episode to our normal ones, as was the last one. It's not necessarily a track episode, but something that I thought you guys might be interested in. This is my daily driver behind us. Well, I say daily driver, it's more of a junk car that we use to go to the tip and things like that. But it's really economical, so we do use it a little bit more than we plan to, and because of that I want to make it God, these cars go fast behind me. I want to make it slightly nicer than it currently is, so to do that I am basically turning this car into a full Renault Sport replica. That involves changing all the suspension, all of the bodywork. It involves changing a lot of the electrics, rewiring the inside and outside of it, because this is a really poverty spec car at the moment. So I thought you might want to see that. This is going to be different to our normal type of videos because it's just going to be a one take thing. You kind of join me about 5% of the way through the project. So at the moment, I'll take you inside. So I'm sure you can see I've changed the interior on the car already. It's so just I'll provide as much detail as I can really. I've put in a 182 carpet, so that is this high pile carpet, which is much thicker than the standard stuff, so that makes the car quite a bit quieter. I've also got these 172 seats, which are in pretty good condition. Pretty good condition for the age. It's quite difficult to find stuff that's in good nick on these cars now. And it's also, I put in some 182 silver seat belts. I think they also came in the 172, although that could be wrong. I've done one of these replicas beforehand, so it's not an unfamiliar thing to me. On this particular car, it really was poverty spec. So when I first got this car didn't have electric door mirrors. It did have electric windows, didn't have electric door mirrors though, as you can see here. So this is where the original manual mirror adjustment was done. I've spent a really long time looking at the engine, the wiring looms on the car, and I've worked out how all of the wiring looms go together. So basically in this car the dash loom is pretty much wired for everything. When I say everything, that doesn't mean it's wired for some of the stuff that I am going to do, but it was wired for electric wing mirrors. Electric wing mirrors also means heated wing mirrors as well, because all cars with electric mirrors come with heated rear mirrors. That is on the rear demister button, and when you do the rear demister, the mirrors heat up. That's on a lot of cars as well, that kind of stuff. In terms of other stuff though, the dash loom does have everything, but there are looms which come off it which then don't have stuff. So I've had to change the looms in the door. I've changed the or I haven't yet, but I am going to change the loom in the back or add some wiring into it, because this doesn't even have wiring for rear speakers, which is really annoying because the dash loom does have that. So I just need to run the cables for that bit. Other than that, on the interior, at the moment you can see it's got this just manual not climate control, but manual heater controls. It has got air conditioning, so I am going to obviously keep the air conditioning, but I'm going to change this to climate control. I have got a loom from a 182 which I've taken out, stripped out the climate control loom for that. I've also taken the climate control out of the engine bay loom when I took that car apart, so I've got the full loom for that. If you want to do a climate control conversion, I'll go over that in a bit more detail when I do it, but you need the controls, the wiring, the heater box in the back of the dashboard, and you need the heater box which goes in the scuttle panel under there. I'm also going to be adding in cruise control, so where these cutouts are here, on a 182 or some late 172s you had cruise control buttons here, so I'm going to be doing that. I've got a 182 wheel and 182 buttons, and a 182 airbag which has got this recess much nicer done than you can do it. Can actually cut this out, but it just looks a bit messy. You'll need the buttons as well down here. So I've got a panel for down here as well. You also need to change the squib if you're going to do cruise control. I've of course got all of the wiring for cruise control in this car as well. I can't think what else I'm going to do on the inside here. Oh, part of the climate control is this here. I don't know if you can see that or not really, it's a bit dark. But anyway, so this is the internal temperature sensor on the car. That forms part of the climate control, as does this electric mirror conversion. So the electric mirror conversion, I haven't got the car key, so I can't turn the car on, but part of the electric mirror conversion gives you the temperature on the dash here, and the climate control uses the internal and external temperature sensor to do that. So you have to have electric mirrors to have climate control. You can't do it without that. Part of changing this over here, it also means changing the roof loom, which comes down here, and then into the dash. I need to add some wiring into the dash so I can do that. Also, that will allow me to have the mirrors here, which are illuminated like you get in a 182. You can probably see already that this car has got a rain sensor. It didn't originally have a rain sensor when I bought the car, so I've actually changed the windscreen in this as well. We did that ourselves. It was a pretty easy job to do. Give me a second. Yeah, it was a pretty easy job to do. We just chopped the old one out with some wire, and then just chuck this one in. So that's obviously the gel pack and the light sensor. I'm going to try and add automatic lights into this car as well, which is not something I've done before, but I've taken the wiring out of a 182, so I can try and do that. In terms of the outside of the car, you can see it's obviously totally standard. It's got these are the phase 3 wheels, because this is a phase 3 car. It's a 2005. Phase 3 means that it comes with a couple of extra bits, in terms of it's got slightly different clocks on it, but other than that they're pretty much the same. The beauty of this car is that it doesn't have a sunroof on it, and that means that you don't get any leaks. Also, that will make it look like a more authentic sport. So to actually do the change, I'm going to have to change the front bumper. I'm going to change the wings, because the wings are substantially wider. This is just the body kit I'm talking about at the moment. Then I have to change the skirts. You have to change the wings to change the skirts. Or this doesn't have skirts at the moment, so they go over the top of here. I'm going to put some brackets on. I'm just about to do that. On the side here, these are matte trims. Don't know if you can see those or not. So these are matte trims, which I need to change to the gloss ones. And then on the rear bumper, well, I'm sure you can see that is very different to one that I've got in the garage just here. So I've got all of the stuff here. So this is the 172 rear bumper. I've got the wings there, got the side skirts here, trims, and I've got a front bumper there as well. So I luckily I do know what I'm doing with this conversion. I've done it before, as I say, on one of my old cars, but I had a few hit and miss bits along the way, so this one's going to be slightly different. Part of the conversion, I keep forgetting things because there's so many things to do, but it's obviously going to have xenon headlights as well. I could wire in not xenon headlights, but I could wire in headlight washers as well, but headlight washers are notoriously unreliable, so I'm not going to do that. But part of it is also going to be doing full suspension conversion as well. So I'll just talk about what the suspension conversion is. So the suspension on this car is going to be completely changed to the sport setup. The only difference between what this car is going to have and the 182 or 172 is that, well, it's going to be the same as a 182 cut basically. This car doesn't have a place to mount a centre bearing on the driver's side drive shaft or the offside drive shaft, so that will just be a one-piece cup shaft. The passenger side one is exactly the same. The brakes will be bigger. They do fit under these 15-inch wheels, but they'll be changed, and the rear beam on this car is a 44 tooth ABS car, so that means you need to change the ABS sensors to DCI 100 items, which I don't currently have, but I will do. They're about 67 quid a go. If it's a 24 tooth ABS car, then you don't need to change that. The 172 sensors will do absolutely fine. On the front, you don't need to change the ABS sensors. The standard ones will work. The ones that have ESP but on the back it is just slightly different. In terms of other things, everything is pretty much just plug and play. So the shells on these cars are pretty much universal to the whole range. The only difference in the actual shell of the car is that on the Sport the rear arches are rolled. Sorry. So this really is a case of putting all of the Sport parts on this non-sport car. So I thought that you would like to see that. It's just another thing that is going to be done on the car. At the moment it doesn't have this front gearbox mount, which it will have once I've done the full conversion on it. So there's just a number of things like that you get on a Sport that you don't on a non-sport. So I'm now going to just glue on the side skirt brackets, and that's that. I'll bring you along for the journey. Sorry, it's a bit kind of hit and miss and a bit all over the place, but I wasn't really intending to film this. I just wanted to get it done as quick as possible, so I'm trying to just do everything in one take and explain it as I go. Hope you enjoy it.